Welcome to another edition of Carnivore Bites. I'm your host, Jeff Sherman, along with Dr. Eric Lopkin. And Dr. Lopkin, having been around the block for a while, I have yet to see an administration start off on such a bad foot. How about yourself, sir?
No, I don't think anybody has seen anything like this. I think the last time any administration was dealing with things like this going in, I've never seen anybody handle it so badly, but you got to go back to World War II and the Depression, when Harry Truman took over. And again, and he wasn't elected at that point. He took over because FDR died.
Yeah, but I mean, his handling, it's up for debate if he was or was not a good president. That's another discussion. But what I'm trying to say is, yes, he inherited certain things, obviously a war, the atom bomb decision, eventually getting into Korea. But I'm just talking about someone that, the pandemic was already, you already had the vaccine in the pipeline, basically inherited very little in terms of disaster. The economy, basically, you couldn't get a better situation because it's all poised for growth after the vaccine really gets implicated. But I've never seen anyone miss. It's only been 3 months, about 3 months, and everything he's touched is just falling apart.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely ridiculous. And, we've got this crisis at the border where they're putting, I think the number I saw yesterday was 647 people crammed into a facility meant for about 85. And Biden is trying to say, well, this problem was created by Trump's policies. Well, the fact of the matter is, the president of Mexico came out and stated point blank, no, the border was secure and everything was under control when Trump was president. This is all because of Biden's policies.
Well, let me just correct you on one thing, if I can be so bold.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's Biden's policy at all. How does that grab it? I don't think he's even. I think there's handlers. Well, Kamala Harris might have a role, but
I'm sure, but it
probably does.
It's the Biden administration.
Oh yeah, no.
It's just
it's absolutely 100%.
Yeah.
But what scares me the most is I don't believe he's really in control. I think
No, I'm sure he's not, because we've never had a president go this long without addressing the press. There's supposed to be a big press conference for the first time tomorrow, either tomorrow or Friday.
I think it's
really
tomorrow.
Sure. But the press has never been kept from the president like this before. We were
fed a pack of lies, Dr. Lopkin.
Oh, yes.
Listener, there was no uncovering of this. You have someone who clearly has dementia. That's not a partisan observation. It's common sense. He's not in control. This is not like, we're, the governor of Connecticut, like, okay, big deal, he's senile. I'm not saying he actually is. I'm saying
right. You're just using it as an example.
Big deal, okay? This is the leader of the free world. You had China eating our lunch. I mean, just like laughing at us, reminiscent of Obama, by the way. And it is a little bit cause for concern. I mean, you mentioned the fact off air that they're thinking about taking the nuclear codes away from them. Is that correct?
It's a rumor I heard. I have not confirmed that yet, so I don't want to go on record as saying it's happening. But it's a possibility, and it's something we're looking into because word reached us. We're looking at a situation where, for 4 years, Democrats claimed that, the world is laughing at Trump. And the fact of the matter is, world leaders had respect for Trump because
there's no question.
He put them in his place. He didn't brook any bullshit. And now we are literally being laughed at.
Oh, how can you not laugh?
By Korea,
how can you not laugh
by
at
Russia?
By everyone. How can you not laugh at the stupidity of America? This whole thing about, Trump's, an ass, and he's pompous, and he was all of that. But, his policies weren't all that bad. And it's not like you're not married to the guy. He's not your best buddy. Get over this buddy thing, America. Comment?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely right. If you look at just the policies were strong American policies. They put us on a good foot economically. They were putting us on a good foot internationally. We had our allies finally ponying up in NATO and pulling their weight. We had our adversaries, Russia, China, Korea, behaving themselves at least, even if there wasn't exactly mutual respect. Now, China and Korea have deepened their ties. There's actually talk of a new alliance between Russia, China, and North Korea because they know Biden won't do anything because he's incompetent.
Yeah, I now when does the press have to pony up and basically do some reporting? They're supposed to be the third rail. Doesn't look like they didn't do it during the election. They all knew this guy was out there. It shows you when you don't have a functioning press, that's what you get is a Joe Biden.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's something that the Democrats took advantage of. The fact that we do not have an independent press in this country. We have a media that is essentially an arm of the Democratic Party, and they just spouted whatever bullshit the Democrats spread. And in fact, I've said this on the podcast previously. I remember distinctly after the Mueller report came out, where Adam Schiff was on the news saying Trump colluded with the Russians. We've proven it. And not only didn't they prove it, the Mueller report proved the opposite. The media just let him get away with spreading that lie.
Okay, again, if it doesn't affect our livelihoods, our well-being, so be it. So you're talking about celebrity gossip or something, who cares? This was a display of gross negligence. I mean, this is really scary. It's not a partisan situation. I've supported Democrats in the past. This person is not up for the job. They all knew it. The hardest question he got was, what flavor ice cream do you like? And here we are, three months later, and we're in deep doo-doo, aren't we?
Oh, we are. We're seeing the crisis at the border. We're seeing jobs already starting to leave the country. Economic indicators that were expected to be positive came out today negative. He's already talking about raising taxes on everybody. And, they make a big deal going, oh, it's only going to affect the rich. The tax increases never only affect the rich.
Of course not.
They always affect everybody.
And many entrepreneurs file as a single source income.
If you're a sole proprietor, the income from your business counts as your income, even though you're supporting workers and
So and to close on this, I think it would also make me feel a lot better, Dr. Eric Lopkin, is if you had someone in second in command that I felt good about. You have I believe a radical, not particularly qualified, and basically Biden's referred to her as the president several times, and I believe that's not so far from the truth.
It probably isn't. No, Kamala Harris is frightening to me because she is completely incompetent. Okay? There was an article in Politico during the campaign where the head of the California Democratic State Party came out and admitted that the only reason Harris had been given her positions was because he was sleeping with her. She made a comment yesterday about the mass shooting in Colorado that, quite frankly, it made Trump sound eloquent in comparison.
And even her snickering at the border, I don't think that's just, they say that's her reaction to controversy or tough questions.
No, her reaction should never be to laugh at a controversy. This is something that is concerning to the American people, and she does not have the intellectual prowess to deal with it without giggling like a schoolgirl.
How long does this last? I have my own opinion, but I want yours first. When is the gig up? It will be up, by the way.
Well, I think the gig is already up. People already know what's going on. I think politically it's not going to be up until next year when Congress and the Senate flip.
I think this might be, how does this sound? I'm usually the pessimist, Dr. Lopkin. This may, in the end, like anything, no pain, no gain, could in the end be beneficial to America. And here's why I think this. First of all, it outs the press as being dysfunctional and inoperative. And it also is going to basically uncover a lot of what's going on, and could be a whole cleansing of our political system. I mean, you have a party, the Democrats, that actively, knowingly put someone that's put the best interest of the country behind their own vested interest. That's treason.
You know what? I hope you're right, but I have my doubts, because I've spoken to a couple of people over the past week, 2 weeks, and with everything that's going on, they're beating the drum that we have to support the Democrats because the Republicans tried to shoot down the stimulus bill. And they got $1,400, and they're going to remember that in the election, that the Republicans tried to keep this money from them. So you've got a group of people out there that are so partisan that they don't care that their party is selling America down the drain as long as they get money in their bank account.
Actually, I'll close on that because I agree, because one of my childhood heroes, Joe Namath, he does this commercial for Medicare Advantage, whatever it is. And I've heard this on several commercials aimed at senior citizens. Shows you what I'm watching. But they're like, you're entitled. I think we've become a society, not just over the last year, over the last decades, that we are entitled. And that's really the major interest of most Americans, or many Americans.
Yes, it's they're giving this to me. Essentially, this is what the Democratic Party has become, is that they're buying votes.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Lopkin, that concludes another edition of Carnivore Bites. We'll be live this Friday, and our listeners can join in.
Yes, you can join us 4:00 on Friday at blogtalkradio.com/carnivore radio, where you can call in and be part of the conversation. We'll see you,
Dr. Lopkin. Thank our listeners. Take care.
You've been listening to Carnivore Bites, part of the Exvadio podcast network. You can catch us every week on carnivoreradio.com, exvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts.